Hey guys, Patrick Wind here, and welcome to this training model in which I'm going to show you what really matters when it comes to weekly optimization. So in weekly optimization, it's all about fighting creativity fatigue, analyzing your competitors, getting strategic breakdown insights, ideating for new A/B tests that you're going to run, and then also double check with your analytics, be it Google Analytics, your business intelligence, or Facebook Analytics. So guys, let's get started with one of the phenomena that is very famous, but no one actually knows exactly how to fight it. So let's start with how to fight creativity fatigue. Okay, creativity fatigue basically means that your audience gets tired of seeing the same ads all over time, and therefore the performance goes down. Okay, and this high frequency of showing people all the time the same ad can really kill your performance. So have in mind this very interesting and very important recommendation that you should aim for a frequency of somewhere between 3 and 5. Okay, and if your frequency hits the level of 6 or 7 or even higher, okay, then you should really refresh the creative. So come up with new images, new videos, new copy, argumenting a new value proposition. So you focused first on we are the best in the market, now you can focus on we have the best customer support, or so on and so forth. And there's also a further recommendation that the lifespan of a creative is usually not longer than 4 to 6 weeks. So if you have an ad live for already 2 months, well, it's pretty likely that the performance goes down because of the creativity fatigue, that people see the same ad already over 2 months. So after 1 month, so after 4 weeks, it's usually recommended to refresh the creative and give them a new image, a new video, a new copy, so on and so forth. The most important is always the creative element. So refreshing the image or the video makes a lot of sense. And why is it important? Why can it actually hurt your performance? Well, it's called banner blindness, and people stop paying attention to your ad because they've seen it so many times, and this will definitely lower your click-through rate. Okay, so if people are blind to your banner, to your ad, they will not click on it. And there's also a second negative effect, which is that the higher the frequency, the more likely it is that people leave an angry comment and they start reporting your ad because they simply don't want to see it anymore. Okay, and this will of course then also hurt your relevance score because the level of negative feedback has increased, so on and so forth. What else should you take a look at in order to fight creativity fatigue? Because it's not just about frequency, it's also about the related KPIs. For example, the most important part in this category is the click-through rate. Okay, because let's imagine you have a high frequency, but you still get great click-through rates, then it doesn't matter. Okay, the only thing that matters to you is that at the end of the day you get good performance. Okay, so always take a look at the frequency and also at the click-through rate. And then in the last part, you should also consider analyzing the positive and negative feedback that you get on this ad, because this determines at the end of the day your relevance score. Okay, here's a nice overview that is taken from Espresso, and it shows very nicely the higher the frequency, the lower the click-through rate and the higher the cost per click. Okay, so you see, for example, here frequency 1 is the starting point, with frequency 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. The click-through rate constantly decreases and the cost per click constantly increases. Okay, so it makes a lot of sense to showing your ad to new people or refreshing your ad to the old people. So you have two options: either tackling new audiences with the same creatives because they're going to see it the first time, or refreshing the creative and showing it to the existing audience. And here's also a nice demonstration of the graph, just in a table format, which shows that the higher the frequency, the lower the click-through rate, and unfortunately the higher the cost per click. Moreover, I also wanted to show you where you can actually find the frequency on your ad level. Okay, and it's basically done this way. You tag all of the ads you want, and then you edit, you click the view chart button, and here in custom you see this wonderful overview of what's the cumulated frequency and how it is actually developed over the past days, because this evolution is very interesting, very important to have in mind. So, and the last part I wanted to show you about fight creativity fatigue is also that, as we mentioned, you should not only take into consideration your frequency, which you can see here, but you should also take into consideration the evolution of the click-through rate, okay? And this one you could do, for example, if you compare the last 7 days and the days before, and you can see a clear change, positive or negative, when it comes to click-through rates, and that's something you should definitely have in consideration, not only the frequency, but also the click-through rate. So, after we have analyzed, after we have checked for the creativity fatigue effect, now we want to analyze our competitors, because we can be super nicely inspired by the way they set up their ads, and it's important for us to always anticipate the new trends from them and include them also in our campaigns. The resources that we have are either Facebook internal resources or external resources. For the internal ones, what we can easily do is we could like their page and constantly check their organic posts and see for their engagement, okay? Then there's this new tool of info and ads, which is it's an element on the left side of on the lower left side of the page, which I'm going to show you later on in more detail. And there's another trick, another hack that you could apply in order to really get their entire business intelligence, which would be to go to the website, add one of their products to the shopping cart, and start the payment process, initiate the payment process, but then don't actually finish the payment process, and therefore you enter in their hot retargeting funnel, and you will receive all the retargeting emails, and you're gonna see how aggressive they are in their wording. You will see how what kind of discount they offer, you will see to which page they link you, you will see what kind of creative they're using, you will see what ad type they're using. So this is actually a very interesting hack that you should definitely do, just to go on to the websites of 2 or 3 competitors of yours, add the products to the shopping cart, and then see what retargeting ads, but also emails you will receive from them. What about the external resources? Well, external, one of the market leaders in this area is SimilarWeb. I would definitely recommend you to get their Chrome extension to analyze their websites, and this SimilarWeb will help you to understand the different sources of traffic your competitors get on their website, and it helps you to anticipate new trends from your competitors. So let's show you one of my favorite possibilities that I do all day long right now is checking out info and ads from different competitors. For example, if you analyze Hawkers, okay, Hawkers here on the left lower part, you see on the page it says info and ads, and if you then click on it, you can easily select the country where you want to see the ads that they're displaying, and then you can get a full list of all the active ads this page is currently running, okay? This is of course very powerful because it shows you exactly the wording, the ad type, and the creative. For example, in this case, it helped me a lot to get inspired because I learned many things. The first thing I learned is here, they used an existing post, okay? So they actually promoted something on their on their like page, and then they used this existing post in an ad. Here I learned another interesting thing. Here I learned that they're using actual collection ads, and also using this in DPA, but the product feed is not with images with white background, so the standard ones, but they rather uploaded the product feed with black background, and also with the company logo and some new in text on there. So that's a very interesting part that I have only learned by analyzing my competitors, to see that actually the collection ads can be done with this nice product feed in a much more appealing way than just the white background, okay? And then the last part I also learned from analyzing this competitor is that they're using in Facebook mobile newsfeed, they're using this wonderful existing post in an interesting format, okay? So for Facebook mobile newsfeed, they're using this very long, very vertical design, okay? They tag the products from an existing post and then they use it in an ad. Okay, so all of this is very, very, very interesting business intelligence that you can get easily by just analyzing your competitors. And then on SimilarWeb, you can of course check wonderfully where the traffic comes from. So for example, Alexa here gets a lot of direct, then referrals, people search for it, social, mail, display ads. Okay, so you can get a nice overview of where the traffic actually comes from on your competitor's website. And then where else can we get strategic insights, which is definitely does not only come from our competitors, but also from our own data, right? So how can we analyze our own data in order to get strategic breakdown insights? Well, we're gonna run those breakdowns on a macro level, on a micro level, and we will need to understand not only the current picture, but an entire evolution over the past days and weeks. So on macro level, this basically means to generate general learning on account overview. Here, once again, the most important breakdowns are placement, age, gender, country, region, and device. But we could also do it on the specific micro level, which is campaign, ad set, and ad. And here the same filters would be necessary to apply. And the most important part of everything is that we understand the evolution and we document our entire learning and apply it to future campaigns. So, for example, what's the kind of information that we can derive from here? Well, for example, on account overview, already the very first table over here is very helpful because it helps us to see on one view how much money we have spent, and then we can see the results. For example, if our results was reach, which usually is not our goal, we would see it right here, but we could definitely also go for leads, or what really matters to us is purchases and even website purchase conversion value. So that's actually the first analysis I always run when I enter a new account is how much money did they spend, how much money did they get out of it. It's like the first thing I want to see. So money spent, 1,600, money earned, 4,000 or 5,000. That's always the first thing that I take into consideration, okay? And then if you scroll down on account overview, you also get these very nice breakdowns between men and women. And there's also the same graph for age groups, okay? So this one takes it together, age, men and women, but it also can be just separated between men and women and just between age. And here, once again, important that you switch this button here where it says in blue reach. If you click on the drop down menu, it will open up and you can switch to website purchases or website purchase conversion value, which is of course even more interesting. Then here you see the hours of the day. So where did we spend the most money and when did we actually make money? So we just need to switch here from reach to website purchases or website purchase conversion value, and then we'll see when did we actually make the most money in each part of the day. And then the lower part here is basically showing the country or the region that you have spent the most money or where you get the most reach. So once again, you can just click the button here and the drop down menu will open and you can select the actual KPI that really matters to you. And then the last part when it comes to account overview is that you have this nice table below the map where you can have an entire account overview of the complete data set, and you can apply your customized columns, so our full funnel dashboard, for example, and wonderfully you could apply all the breakdowns that matter to you. So for example, for placement, for platform, age and gender, country. So what really matters to you, and you get the big picture when it comes to your account overview. Now, what should we do with all of these insights? What should we do with all of this know-how? Well, we should definitely ideate and create new A/B tests from that. Okay, so we use the strategic insights. We have documented all our learnings from strategic breakdown analysis and use these insights to generate between 5 to 10 ideas for new A/B tests each week. In the best case, we even generate more ideas, of course, okay? And we apply these ideas. To our A/B testing Excel, okay? So in the next slide, I'm going to present you our A/B testing Excel file, but let me first finish this one, and because we want to make use of this Excel tool to structure and plan your upcoming weeks. And then with this Excel file, we're also going to prioritize our testing budget, because first it's always about audiences, then it's about creatives, then it's about copies, and only after that we talk about all the others. So optimization events, bid strategies, so on and so forth, okay? And this one is very important. So really work hard and consistently. Run at least 2 to 5 tests each week. And trust me, it will really make the difference. The more work you put in, the better your output is going to be. So how is this A/B testing Excel file actually structured? Well, the first card is the B Guideline, which you see down here, where you have like the code, you have the start and ending date, you have a budget overview and what you're actually running. Then you have some ideas for audiences, then you have some ideas for creatives, then some ideas for copies, and some ideas for others. And this one you can just fill in with all the information that you've gathered from the insights before, and you will then integrate it into your actual plan, the actual guideline. So the first step, you collect some information. For example, here I learn, let's say the blue one would be purchases. So I learned that, well, first I learned that I've only spent money on men, okay? So one idea would be, well, I should definitely test also women, okay? And the second thing is that I clearly learned that the younger ones convert better, okay? And therefore I could integrate in my audience ideas already 2 ideas. So first idea, testing also women, spending also some prospecting budget on women. Second idea, focus on younger people, okay? Because that's what I've learned from my data set. And then once I've integrated it in my ideas, okay, here it's just the brainstorming. I point down everything that I've learned in the strategic analysis and also from my competitors. Usually the competitors' ideas I put into the creatives' ideas, okay? For example, I've seen that my competitor always includes the logo in the photos. Well, then I point it down as a potential A/B test. I've also seen that hawkers, for example, they added these white borders to the picture, so these white lines. Well, that's also something that I would like to test, okay? And once I've written down all of my ideas, I will then prioritize them in my tool, okay? And then I'm also gonna plan the budget for this accordingly, and I give him an identification number, and this identification number will just add on ad set level or an ad level, and I'm good to start. So this is really important, and I cannot mention it enough, that work hard and consistently, because this will really make the difference. The more tests you run, the better your results are going to be. And then once you have run all the tests, of course we need to double check the performance of it and if it really worked the way we supposed it, okay, to work. So 3 options where we can actually double check our analysis. One is within Google Analytics, the other one is with our own business intelligence, and then of course we have the Facebook analysis deep dive. So let's get started with the Facebook let's get started with Google Analytics. Here we want to control for inconsistencies because they have different attribution models, okay? You can switch to different attribution models also within Facebook between the 1 day post view, 1 day post click, until 28 days post view and 28 days post click, and we'll have a very long and interesting discussion about that in one of the upcoming chapters. But for now it's just important that you check in Google Analytics if there are any inconsistencies, if there is some data that looks this way in Facebook and the other way in Google, okay? And you should definitely analyze the countries, regions, different bounce rates, the time spent per site, and the average pages per session. So these are the main KPIs that you should definitely take a look at Google Analytics. Then your internal business intelligence. This will help you to really understand the big picture, okay? So really also carefully check your Shopify data or PrestaShop, WooCommerce or custom page or whatever you build it on to understand if the Facebook attribution is completely correct, or if is it under-reporting or over-reporting. So under-reporting would mean that Facebook demonstrates, for example, 5 sales, but then in the actual Shopify account you have 10 sales, and over-reporting would be that the pixel is wrongly installed and Facebook demonstrates 10 sales, even though in Shopify you only got 5 sales, okay? So therefore it's important to at least on a weekly basis, double check also with your own business intelligence and do not only rely on the Facebook data. However, if you want to trust the Facebook data and go into more detail, there are two very interesting, very important tools. One is Facebook Analytics and the other one is Delivery Insights that I would like to show you now in a more practical way. But before, let's also just have a look on Google Analytics. Here you can clearly see you can filter by country, and Analytics you can have a nice overview of all the orders you got in order to make sure if Facebook is attributing correctly or is it over or under reporting. And then we have all the Facebook internal deep dive possibilities. One of my favorite ones is Facebook Analytics, okay, which you find here in all tools, measure and report, and then Analytics. Here you can have a wonderful dashboard where you can see all the active users, the age and gender, and it's basically the Facebook version of Google Analytics, which is measured by the pixel. Okay. And the last tool I wanted to present is Delivery Insights. In Delivery Insights, you can find many interesting thoughts. Many interesting insights also about auction overlap and first time impression ratio, so on and so forth. And you find this actually in the delivery column. So in the delivery column, once the initial learning is complete, you can hover over it with your mouse, and then you can see here, see Delivery Insights in blue. So you see it's actually pretty hidden, okay? But once you find it, it has a lot of valuable information for you. So just click here on the Delivery Insights, and then this screen will open for you where you will see audience saturation, activity history, auction overlap, okay? And especially the audience saturation is something that's very valuable for us because it shows us how often did we show our ad the first time to a person, what's the percentage of the audience that we have already reached, okay? So for example, we have an audience of 1 million people, but how many of them have we really reached so far, okay? Have we reached 10%? 50%, 80%, because I hear many times, Patrick, my lookalike audience doesn't work anymore because I've already burned it. I've spent so much money on them. And I think everyone has seen it already several times. And I'm like, okay, let's check that. Let's go into Delivery Insights. Let's go to the audience reached ratio and let's see what's the real percentage of the audience that you have reached. And then it's usually the case that out of a 1 million people audience, you haven't reached everyone several times, you know, and therefore it's still possible and it's not burned. But it's something that you have to check on your individual data set. You want to go in the delivery column, hover over the initial learning complete. On ad set level, go see the Delivery Insights, and then here you can easily check it on your own. So guys, that was very interesting. I've shown you a nice overview of all the steps that we should take when it comes to weekly optimization. The first and most important thing is that we have to fight creativity fatigue because frequency can really kill our performance. We have to analyze our competitors in a structured way. For example, with the info and ad section, where we have seen all the learnings that I've derived from Hawkers, for example, we should run strategic breakdown analysis on account level, but also campaign ad set and ad level to really derive some new ideas for A/B testing that we then should definitely document and prioritize in our A/B testing Excel file. And then let's also double check our analysis with Google Analytics, with our own business intelligence, and of course also with the Facebook internal deep dive data. So guys, I hope this was as interesting to you as it was for me, and thank you very much for listening, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.